Do you ever wake up feeling a bit groggy, with a heavy head that just won't clear? Perhaps you feel a little unsteady when you first stand up, or a wave of lightheadedness hits you before you've even had your coffee. It's a frustrating feeling, and it's so easy to just dismiss it as a normal part of getting older. You might even be doing exactly what you're supposed to do, starting your day with a big, healthy glass of water. Yet, the fog and instability remain. The truth is, there's a hidden reason why that well-intentioned habit might not be working for you. In just a few moments, I'm going to share a simple adjustment to your morning routine that can help you feel clearer and more stable right from the start of your day. In my years of focusing on health and vitality after 60, this is one of the most common complaints I've encountered. People tell me they feel drained before their day has even truly begun, despite getting a full night's sleep and trying to hydrate properly. Let me assure you, if this sounds familiar, it is not a personal failing. Your body is not broken. It's simply operating under a different set of rules than it did a few decades ago. This feeling of morning sluggishness isn't something you have to passively accept. It's often a sign that our bodies are asking for a small but significant change in how we support them, especially in those first crucial moments after waking. The key isn't in drinking more water, but in understanding how your body absorbs it. What most of us don't realize is that there's a very common, invisible mistake many of us make with that first glass of water. It seems so healthy and is recommended everywhere, but for a body over 60, it can sometimes prevent you from getting the deep, cellular rehydration you truly need to combat that dizziness and brain fog. Throughout this video, I'm going to explain exactly why this happens and reveal the simple factor that determines whether that water actually revitalizes you or just passes right through your system. The problem lies in a fundamental change in our physiology as we age. After 7 or 8 hours without any fluid, our body is in a unique state of dehydration. The way we reintroduce water in that moment is critical. The popular method of quickly drinking a large volume of plain water can sometimes overwhelm our system's ability to absorb it efficiently. It can trigger a flushing effect that doesn't allow the fluid to properly rehydrate our blood and our cells, which is what we need to feel alert and steady. We're going to explore this simple mechanism and see how it connects directly to that feeling of instability and fatigue you might be experiencing. Understanding this process is the first step toward reclaiming your morning energy and feeling more confident on your feet. It isn't about a complicated new regimen. It's about making your existing habits work smarter for your body, not against it. Before we dive into the simple science and the practical solution, if these are topics that matter to you, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and click the like button so you don't miss future insights. I'd also love to read about your own experiences in the comments. Have you ever felt that morning grogginess, even after drinking water? Sharing helps everyone in our community feel less alone on this journey. To really understand why you might feel this way, we need to look at what's happening inside your body while you sleep. Every night, your body is hard at work repairing itself, a process that consumes a significant amount of water through breathing and metabolism. This means that after 7 or 8 hours without any fluid intake, you naturally wake up in a state of dehydration. This is a normal physiological process for everyone, not a sign that something is wrong. However, as we get older, our body's resilience to this temporary fluid deficit changes. Our internal reserves aren't as robust as they were in our 30s or 40s, making our systems much more sensitive to this morning dehydration. How we choose to correct this imbalance in the first few minutes of our day is therefore absolutely critical to how stable and clear-headed we feel. The most direct effect of this overnight dehydration is on your blood. Think of your circulatory system as a network of rivers. When you are well hydrated, your blood flows smoothly and easily, like a clear, fast-moving stream. But after a long period without water, that fluid becomes thicker and more concentrated, almost like a syrup. The scientific term for this is increased blood viscosity. It simply means that the liquid part of your blood, the plasma, is reduced, making the blood as a whole denser and more sluggish. It's carrying the same vital components, but in less fluid, which makes it harder to move. This internal heaviness is a key reason you might feel that physical sense of sluggishness and fatigue before your day has even properly started. Now let's consider what this thicker, more syrupy blood means for your heart. Your heart is an extraordinary pump, working tirelessly to push blood through thousands of miles of vessels to deliver oxygen and nutrients to every single cell. When your blood is thin and fluid, this task is relatively easy. But when the blood is viscous, your heart has to exert significantly more force to propel that dense fluid through the same system. It's the difference between trying to push water through a straw versus trying to push honey through that same straw. This extra effort puts a direct strain on your cardiovascular system. It's a hidden burden your body has to manage every single morning, and it happens right at the moment your body needs to transition from rest to activity. This challenge is often compounded by another natural change that occurs with age. Over the decades, our blood vessels, our arteries and veins, tend to lose some of their youthful elasticity. They can become a bit more rigid and less flexible than they once were. So, not only is your heart attempting to pump thicker blood, but it's also trying to push it through pipes that don't expand as easily to accommodate the flow. This combination of increased blood viscosity and decreased vessel flexibility creates a significant mechanical challenge. It's a primary reason why you might experience that wave of dizziness or a heavy head when you stand up. Your system is struggling to quickly adjust and deliver enough oxygen-rich blood to your brain against this added resistance. To understand why simply drinking a large glass of water might not fix this, let's use a simple analogy. Imagine you have a potted plant with soil that has become bone dry and compacted. If you take a big pitcher of water and pour it all in at once, what typically happens? Most of that water rushes over the hard surface, flows down the sides between the soil and the pot, and drains straight out the bottom. It never gets a chance to be absorbed by the deep, thirsty roots. The plant remains fundamentally dehydrated, even though you've technically given it a lot of water. In this case, the sheer volume and speed of the water worked against its ability to be absorbed by the very soil that needed it most. Your body in the morning is very much like that dry, compacted soil. After a long night, your cells are thirsty, and your entire system is in a dehydrated state. When you quickly gulp down a large volume of plain water, especially if it's cold, you can trigger a similar flushing effect. Your body, which is not primed to absorb such a large, mineral-free fluid load all at once, may simply shuttle it directly to your kidneys for rapid expulsion. It essentially passes right through you, just like the water in our plant analogy. You might feel a temporary fullness in your stomach, followed by a quick trip to the bathroom. But the deep cellular rehydration that your brain, muscles, and blood are craving hasn't actually happened. So, what is the immediate result of this inefficient hydration method? The fundamental problem, that thick, viscous blood, remains largely unaddressed. Your heart continues to work harder than necessary, and your circulation isn't optimally restored. This is precisely why you can drink a full glass of water and still feel that persistent brain fog, unsteadiness, or lightheadedness. The water hasn't been properly transported into your bloodstream to help dilute it and restore its easy flow. Your cells, particularly those in your brain, are still waiting for that efficient delivery of oxygen they need to function at their best. You've put water into the system, but you haven't given your body the right conditions to use it where it counts. This brings us to the most crucial point. What is it about that seemingly healthy glass of water that can cause this flushing effect instead of dehydration? The common mistake is incredibly subtle and appears completely harmless, which is why it often goes unnoticed for years or even decades. It's not about the water itself, but rather about a tiny, missing component that makes all the difference between water that passes through you and water that truly revitalizes you from the inside out. In a moment, I am going to reveal exactly what this common morning error is and show you the simple, almost effortless adjustment you can make to help your body finally absorb water properly, ease that hidden strain, and clear away that morning grogginess for good. The invisible error I've been alluding to is something millions of us do every single morning, believing it's the healthiest choice possible. The mistake is the rapid consumption of a large volume of plain, often cold, water immediately upon waking. We've been told for decades to start your day with water, and it seems like the most logical, responsible thing to do. We see it as a clean slate, a way to flush out toxins and rehydrate. The tragic irony is that this very action, done with the best of intentions, can prevent our bodies from achieving the deep hydration we so desperately need in that moment. It's a classic case of the right goal being pursued with a method that, for a body over 60, is simply no longer the most effective. It's not that water is wrong, it's that the way we are drinking it is failing us. This method fails because it overlooks the delicate state of our system in the morning. Remember our analogy of the dry, compacted soil in the plant pot? Gulping down a large glass of plain water is the human equivalent of that scenario. Because the water contains no minerals to help it get absorbed, it hits your system as a low-density fluid. Your body, particularly your kidneys, can interpret this sudden, large volume as an excess that needs to be expelled quickly. This can trigger a process called diuresis, a flushing effect that sends the water straight through your system for elimination. Instead of being drawn into your bloodstream and your thirsty cells to do its restorative work, much of that precious water is simply rerouted for a quick exit, leaving you nearly as dehydrated as you were when you started. The immediate consequence of this is a frustrating and confusing physical experience. You drink your water, you might feel a temporary sense of fullness in your stomach, and then, within a relatively short period, you feel the urge to urinate. Yet, the underlying symptoms that prompted you to drink the water in the first place, the lightheadedness, the heavy head, the feeling of instability, stubbornly remain. This is the most direct evidence that the water didn't reach its intended destination. It failed to effectively dilute your blood and restore the fluid balance inside your cells, especially in your brain. You've gone through the motions of hydrating, but your body hasn't reaped the true revitalizing benefits, leaving you stuck in that state of morning fog a little longer. Now you might be thinking, what's the real harm in one glass of water not being absorbed perfectly? And that is a very reasonable question. The issue isn't the impact of a single morning. It's the cumulative effect of a habit repeated day after day, year after year. Every morning that your body doesn't efficiently rehydrate, it forces your cardiovascular system to operate under suboptimal conditions for a longer period. That thicker, more viscous blood continues to circulate, demanding more effort from your heart to push it through your vessels. It's a subtle, hidden strain that your body endures right at the start of the day, during a window of time that is already known to be more vulnerable for cardiovascular events. It's a small, daily stress that, over time, can add up significantly. This repeated morning strain can contribute to the overall wear and tear on your heart and arteries. Think of it as asking an engine to run on oil that is too thick every single day. Initially, the engine manages, but over time, that extra friction and stress can accelerate aging and fatigue in the machinery. Similarly, asking your heart to pump viscous blood through arteries that may already be losing their youthful flexibility places a consistent, low-grade burden on your entire circulatory system. While this habit alone is not a direct cause of disease, it is associated with factors that can influence long-term cardiovascular health, including the body's ability to manage blood pressure and maintain healthy circulation. It's a daily, preventable challenge that we unknowingly impose on our bodies. Beyond the internal mechanics, this cycle has a profound impact on your functional life and your daily confidence. The lack of efficient morning hydration directly perpetuates that feeling of reduced mental clarity and physical instability. It's what keeps you feeling tentative when you get out of bed, or makes you pause before bending over to tie your shoes. This morning sluggishness can create a negative feedback loop, making you less likely to engage in healthy morning activities like a brisk walk or gentle stretching. It slowly erodes your morning energy, making the start of each day feel more like a struggle than a fresh opportunity. It can subtly diminish your sense of vitality and independence, one groggy morning at a time. This internal state of inefficient hydration can also manifest in your outward appearance. Over time, a body that is consistently struggling with fluid balance can begin to show it. Chronic, low-grade dehydration is often linked to skin that appears duller, drier, and less supple. It can accentuate the appearance of fine lines and contribute to a general look of fatigue that seems disconnected from the actual amount of sleep you're getting. It's that tired reflection in the mirror that makes you wonder why you still look drained, even after a full night's rest. It's the external sign of a body that is working much harder internally just to maintain its basic equilibrium. A struggle that begins with that first glass of water. So here we are. We've uncovered a common, well-intentioned habit that, due to natural changes in our aging physiology, can actually fail to deliver the very benefits we seek. It can leave us feeling foggy and unstable in the short term, while contributing to a hidden, cumulative strain on our system over the long term. But identifying this error is the most empowering step you can take. It means the problem isn't a mysterious decline. It's a correctable mismatch between your habit and your body's needs. The good news is that the solution is not complicated. It doesn't require a drastic lifestyle change, but rather a simple, intelligent adjustment that helps your body finally absorb and use water the way it was meant to. The solution, thankfully, is as simple as it is effective, and it requires only a tiny adjustment to your morning routine. Instead of quickly drinking a large glass of plain, cold water, I want you to start your day differently. The goal is to shift from focusing on volume to focusing on absorption. We do this by preparing a moderate glass, about 8 to 10 ounces, of warm water. But here is the most important part. You are going to add a tiny pinch of a natural, unrefined salt, like sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. This isn't about adding sodium to your diet for flavor. It's about reintroducing the trace minerals and electrolytes that act as a key, unlocking your cells and allowing the water to be properly absorbed, finally quenching your body's deep thirst and helping to thin that viscous morning blood. Let's go back to our analogy of the dry, compacted potted plant. Adding that small pinch of mineral salt is like gently pre-moistening the soil. It changes the water's properties just enough so that your body doesn't see it as a threat to be flushed out immediately. Instead, these electrolytes signal to your system that this is a valuable, useful fluid. They help shuttle the water molecules across cell membranes, ensuring the hydration gets to where it's needed most: your bloodstream, your brain, and all your vital organs. So, to prepare it, simply warm some water, not hot, just comfortably warm to the touch, and stir in that tiny pinch of salt until it dissolves. You can also add a small squeeze of fresh lemon juice, which can further support this gentle morning rehydration process. The way you drink this is just as important as what you're drinking. This is not something to be gulped down in a hurry. The new habit is to sip this warm, mineralized water slowly over the course of 5 to 10 minutes. Find a comfortable place to sit, perhaps by a window as the sun comes up, and take your time. This gentle, gradual intake gives your body the chance to absorb the fluid efficiently without overwhelming your kidneys. It allows the water to be drawn into your circulation to do its vital work of restoring fluid balance and easing the burden on your heart. This simple, mindful practice transforms your first glass of water from a potential stressor into a truly restorative, nourishing ritual that honors your body's needs in that delicate morning state. Of course, it's important to have realistic expectations. While this adjustment is based on sound physiological principles, it is not an instant fix. Your body has been operating under a different pattern for a long time, and it needs a moment to adapt to this more efficient method of hydration. Many people report feeling a noticeable difference in their morning clarity and stability within 1 to 2 weeks of consistent daily practice. You might first notice that the feeling of lightheadedness when you stand up is less intense, or that the mental fog begins to lift a little sooner than it used to. The goal is a gradual, steady improvement that you can feel, a growing sense of confidence and energy that builds day by day as you start your mornings on a better foundation. Ultimately, this simple change is about more than just feeling less dizzy. It's about reclaiming your sense of vitality and independence right from the start of your day. Imagine waking up and feeling clear, stable, and ready to engage with your life, rather than feeling like you need an hour just to get your bearings. This renewed morning energy can be the catalyst for so many other positive choices, whether it's enjoying a morning walk, tackling a project with focus, or simply feeling more present and engaged with your loved ones. When you begin your day feeling physically secure and mentally sharp, it sets a positive tone that can ripple through everything else you do. It's a profound shift from managing a feeling of fragility to embracing a feeling of capability. This adjustment is also a powerful reminder that your body is still an incredibly intelligent and responsive system. It proves that even after 60, 70, or more years, it has a remarkable capacity to heal and rebalance when given the right support. Feeling better is not always about adding something complicated or expensive to your life. Often, the most meaningful improvements come from making small, insightful changes that work in harmony with your body's natural wisdom. This is not about fighting against the aging process. It's about learning to partner with your body, understanding its changing needs, and providing it with the precise tools it requires to function at its best. It's a testament to the fact that you are never too old to make a change that matters. By understanding this simple mechanism, you take back control. The morning fogginess is no longer a mysterious and inevitable symptom of getting older, but a solvable problem with a clear, logical solution. It moves you from a place of passive acceptance to a position of active empowerment. You now know that your body is not failing you. It was simply asking for a different kind of support. Knowing that you can influence how you feel each morning by making a thoughtful, simple choice is incredibly liberating. It reinforces the most hopeful truth of all, that with the right knowledge, you have the power to profoundly influence your own health and well-being, one mindful, hydrating sip at a time.